Okay, everybody, welcome back to Talk of the Now podcast with Gene. And we've got Jason back. Jason, what are you doing?
Woo. I'm all right, sir.
You're sitting in your car.
I am.
For those that are not on the visual, you're sitting in your car. Are you in a public shopping center?
No, just in a random shopping center.
Random shopping
Kind of
center?
within striking distance of where I'm going next. So
Care to share what you're doing tonight, or is this sort of a private innuendo?
it's covert. I can't really talk about it.
Can you tell us if it involves a lady friend?
No, definitely does not involve that.
Okay. Do you mind if I share with the audience that you are of the single persuasion? Oh, I just did.
I'm what? I'm what?
That you're of the single persuasion.
Yes. Yeah. You kind of already shared it. Yeah.
And I'm of the married persuasion.
Yes.
So, okay, before we even get started, really, I want you to share the story. I think you've got a few different ones, but I know I was with you one night where I think it was a public shopping center, and I think you probably remember the details, but you were in a public shopping center minding your own business after we saw a movie or something, and a cop decided to visit you.
Oh my gosh. It's been a while. I don't. You're gonna have to refresh.
Had been like 10 years ago. I think we saw a movie, and I don't remember what movie. And you had been at I think it was the AMC in Lawrenceville, and you had been like, we just dropped you off, I think, in your car. This might have been all the way back to GTI days, but we dropped you off and you were in your car, and the next day, I think you told us that a cop had walked up to you and said that, like, he tapped on your window and asked you what you were doing there or something like that.
Oh yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah, that was just a random cop came up to me and was like, "Okay, why are you here in the parking lot? What are you up to?" I was like, "Well, just saw a movie. This is a public shopping center." I was like, "Yeah, but the movie theater's right over there, Yeah. So yeah,
I mean, it's not funny to just a random person hearing, I guess, but like, that's not the first time that's happened to you, though, is it?
No, I tend to be a magnet for random police intervention. No, not really doing anything wrong, but I don't know. I get approached, except in times when I need to be approached by the police. That didn't happen one night that it should have. But
well, looking back, that was like I think you might have been in the well, how shall we say, well, not established, but worn in Honda that you owned not long after I met you, the little Honda that you had.
Oh yeah, that gold Honda, yeah.
One that had a blinking eye.
That's right, because thanks to my sister. Yeah.
And your sister wrecked it like 18 times or something?
Yeah, backed into it twice in the driveway.
Oh, man. Yeah. Jason has for those listening, Jason has this, we won't call it a curse, but Jason has had this streak with many of his cars where random things happen to it.
And I have had many cars, so yeah.
Right. And I've had very few cars. I've had a pickup truck, a Chevy Silverado. It was an 86 Chevy Silverado that we basically morphed, if you will, or used different parts to make it. It was like a cross between an 83 Silverado and an 85 Silverado.
Don't forget about your drifting car.
Right. And then the next one was the Monte Carlo, which I spun out on 285. You can probably find the police report if you look in around the year 2000. That was my second car. And my third car is my current Silverado that I've had for nearly 20 years. Actually, I have had it for 20 years. It'll be 20 years in December.
And I have had 16.
16 cars.
Yep.
Including your current Audi.
Yep.
Have you ever noticed how people call it either Audi or Audi?
Yeah, and it's Audi. Anybody that says Audi, I just want to smack them.
So it's like Audi, like the weird Americanism that some people have come up with.
It's like when people say aunt instead of aunt. You know, it's like they just want to sound. They make it sound like they're saying something like ritzy, but they're really mispronouncing something.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, yeah, it's because I had to correct somebody the other day about that. It is not Audi, it's Audi, and it's actually an acronym. Audi is so it's Auto Union DTM and Incorporate something anyway. Audi, I think it's Auto Union. Well, Scott can correct me on this. I think it's Auto Union DKM Ingolstadt, if I'm not mistaken, which is where they're made. So
that's the town, Ingolstadt.
Yep, it's famous for Audi and for Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Those two things. And there you go. Useless knowledge imparted to you.
Well, that's back when the days, like I want to say it probably stopped somewhere during the 70s or 80s with the oil embargo. Like prior to the 70s, like there was probably 100 different automakers, or maybe the 50s at some point. They were like literally.
There still are a lot. There still are a lot, but yeah. Over the years, the conglomerations kind of got together. Obviously, Volkswagen bought Audi and Porsche, and various other auto companies. So they're the big parent company now.
Well, does Germany have more than what? Maybe 3?
Well, it depends if you break them down.
Yeah.
I mean, if you break it down into sub, ones, yeah, they've got more than 3, but really 3 is their key. I mean, obviously, yeah, BMW, Mercedes, and Volkswagen are the 3 big ones.
Volkswagen Porsche, right?
Porsche, yeah. Another mispronunciation is Porsche.
Yeah, I know people do say Porsche. I don't mind Porsche myself, but
well, it's the guy's name, and his name was Porsche, Ferdinand Porsche. So
hey, correct me if I'm wrong, but even the guys on Top Gear sometimes pronounce it as Porsche.
I know, which is wrong.
That's an English.
I've been corrected by Porsche people.
Oh, really?
About that.
You have to say Porsche, not the Porsche.
This is Ferdinand Porsche.
Either way is fine for me, but I understand. If somebody wanted me to say Porsche for their own,
well, I'd be like if somebody called you Jeannie, it's instead of Gene. It's like,
I guess
grant my wishes, sir. No.
Like back in, I guess everybody, I don't know if everybody does this, but back in my middle school days, we were just like in class. Sometimes the guys, we would just, rag on each other. And sometimes you'd rag a little too hard and it would make somebody mad. And so what they would do is they would go the next level. Like, you just do like a little pinch and they decide to do a punch.
Oh yeah.
They don't
read the room.
And I remember this one guy, we called him Bubba, and he was a super nice guy. We were friends, everything, but he made me so mad, like in our 6th grade year, because we were doing something, making fun of each other, and I said something to him, and it was probably, he took it the wrong way, maybe, and he's like, I don't know what I said to him, but instead of calling, he's like, well, that's really great to hear, Janine. So he just started calling me Janine instead of Gene. And in my 12-year-old mind, it was like, oh my gosh,
the biggest insult in the world. Yes.
And he just kept running with it for like a week, and it was just like,
those
stop
people
calling me Janine.
It's like you're beating the dead horse, dude. Yeah.
He tried to make it my brand for a while, and I was not gonna have that.
Some brands you want to own, but not that one. Yes.
So, a lot of times, Jason, we keep this improv most of the time, probably. I mean, this is only episode 2 of this.
That is true. Yes.
Wow. And for the twos of people that might listen, probably including Jason's mom and some random person.
I don't even think she listens.
I see the analytics on this, and somebody in Los Angeles listened to this thing. So
heck yeah, we're getting West Coast representation.
Whoever you are, Mr. Los Angeles. I don't know.
We are that interesting. Yes.
Man, everybody's got a. If this was 2008, we might actually be doing something novel. But I think everybody and his brother has a podcast now. There's probably 2 chipmunks out in my yard that are having a podcast right now about finding squirrels, finding nuts. Uh, anyway, what we're going to do is, I do want to keep it on topic at times, or at least have a topic
Mm.
if we get around to one. It doesn't matter if we get around to one. I don't care. The topic that I first want to discuss, and I thought two that would be good today, and forgive me while I cough. Talk among yourself, Jason.
Silence.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm not going to hear me out on this. I'm not taking this in a political, rhetorical. It's probably not the right word.
Rhetorical. Yes.
Rhetorical way. Not trying to use political rhetoric here. The topic has to do a little bit with what I've seen with, we'll call it the Me Too movement and women in general.
Oh boy.
That we hear in the media. And I'm going in a light direction with this. I'm not going to talk about that.
G wants to get canceled.
No, I don't want to get canceled. I'm doing my best to get canceled no matter what. But we hear that all the time. People will say, because you can't help but watch a movie. I've watched a few movies from different things that aren't even related to things. And what's the term we hear? Empowered women and things like that. The empowered woman or empowered women. And so my topic is, I wanted to talk about some empowered women of yesteryear. Like, these are women that I would consider, and not just yesteryear, but empowered women of music.
Oh, there we go.
Came about way before, like, I don't know, when would you say the whole Me Too movement, sex equality, we'll call it the newest movement, 2015-ish and up,
Oh, yeah.
We call the Me Too
at the earliest, yeah.
Right.
When they hashtag something anyway.
Yeah, the whole hashtag thing. And I mean, if that's how people want to be, whatever. I mean, that's
which is the pound sign to the rest of us, but go ahead.
And think about the first time you saw the hashtag, like, what the heck is this thing? I mean, is that why they put a pound sign in front of it? I mean,
yeah.
And my other question is, did people actually check the hashtags? Like, if you were to look up hashtag, Me Too, do people actually go into that hashtag and look at all the different Me Too stuff, or is it just something?
Yeah, because it technically tags it. It really does tag it. They're searchable. That's why they come up as like a link when you put them into things, so you can actually pull that up and it shows all of the posts. In whatever format you're doing it. Instagram, it'll show them. And Facebook, it'll show them, and wherever else people are, it'll show them.
Well,
yeah, another tracking device.
And I guess, to be fair, in some ways, and I don't want to get into this necessarily, but a lot of men deserve it. With the cat calling that you see at a construction site, just a girl trying to mind her own business. If she's modestly
true, that's called disrespectable woman too. That's just like common sense,
But that's just so you can understand where some of them are coming from, but as well as some people.
Well, it's just like anything else. It gets overdone, I think, in a lot of ways. Or become such a bandwagon thing that it's just the buzzword.
But anyway,
much like other words that we're not going to get on tonight, but yeah, go ahead.
Right, absolutely. And so what I wanted to do was basically go into who some of our favorite, if you will, because here's the thing that I've thought about before, is that I hear some people saying, women are finally empowered or getting empowered and things like that. And, that's fine if you want to think that way. I won't argue nay or yay with that. But what I am saying is that there have been many women who have been very powerful in their field of music and have done really good in the past. Even rock and roll, which traditionally we think of as not being, it's a man's world, so to speak. And that, or is how it was viewed by a lot of people. Not necessarily true, but that's how it was viewed by a lot of people.
Right.
So I just want to go over some of, our favorites. Okay, so let's just, who, when you think of, say, a lot of women that are in rock, who are some of your favorites that stand out?
Now, are we talking about just in general, or are we talking about per instrument? Singers, tended to be the front person in a band as a singer. So I think that's the easiest place to start.
Yeah. And I'm thinking mostly rock, not necessarily like, soft rock or Motown, like Aretha Franklin type. But,
I know. I was about to say because in Motown you can go all over the place with that.
Mhm.
But it goes all the way back. Think about. I mean, if you're looking in like just under the umbrella of rock and roll, meaning 50s, 60s on. I mean, you had Petula Clark, you had Dusty Springfield, all these different artists,
Son of a Preacher Man, is that what she's saying?
Yeah, and
Right.
she's British, which I bet you didn't know.
No, I didn't know
she's
that.
she's actually British. Then I mean, you get into the 60s, and then you've got your, some of your power women, your what's her name from Jefferson Airplane.
Oh yes, I know who
Grace Slick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get into the ones that were just known for being maybe like, your Janis Joplins, who couldn't really ever sing, but
right, but she's well
known, and
right.
I think
no
back
trouble
to
being
those,
popular.
right, and you think back to those times. I mean, you got some of the women that are in groups like Mama Cass, Cass Elliot, from Mamas and the Papas. She was obviously a little bit more of a force than Michelle Phillips was. But yeah, there's all kinds of female artists. And you get into the 70s, I think it gets even more prevalent. To me, my favorite female voice of all time, I bet you don't even know this, is Karen Carpenter.
I can see that.
Karen Carpenter she was to me what Nat King Cole was for men's voices. Just that smooth, almost like a bourbony sound, kind of thing, where it was just natural, where you just know they didn't even have to try to sound that good.
Right.
But and then we can get into our favorite decade, our childhood of the 80s, and it just gets crazy with whether you're a Lita Ford fan or you're a Pat Benatar.
I like that. So let's talk about who some of your favorites are.
Well, obviously, I just said Karen Carpenter is my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Who are some of the favorite voice?
No, I'm just thinking, when you think of who you like, who are some of your favorite women rockers, or I mean, you could say Aretha Franklin, that's fine, but just some of your,
No, I mean, I think that's that's
who would
kind
you
of
buy? Who would you put on your?
I think Aretha Franklin's a Sunday school answer. But
definitely easy.
I'm trying to think of who I listen to at different times. We all go through phases musically, or we'll listen to certain things or certain artists for a while, whenever they're needed in our lives. But I think I would say, I mean, it's hard, man. It's hard for me to think.
I'll
go ahead.
I tell you what, I go through phases in my musical taste.
Right.
Like, I've always got the established ones that I always go back to in musical taste, whether it be, for example, like ones that I've been a fan of since I was 14 or 15, like Led Zeppelin. Like, I'll always go back to them. But I'll go through phases. Of
course.
Like, laugh at this, but I go through a phase every now and then. I call it a Coldplay phase, where I like Coldplay a lot. Like right now,
yellow phase.
Yes. Yeah. And I like them for a long time. And now it's just kind of like down toward the bottom. Radiohead's another one. Sometimes I really listen to a lot of Radiohead, and lately I haven't probably listened to much of their stuff in 2 years. But anyways, I say that because there are women that come and go. Some of my favorite women singers, and I'd say this is even in the last week, is Chrissy Hynde. I'm saying that.
Oh, the Pretenders, yeah. That's definitely a unique voice.
Exactly, and you know what? And I've been listening to a lot of her music today, even while I was working. And some of the things that I notice about her is effortlessness.
Yeah,
she seems like she sings with little to no effort.
Yep.
It makes it sound easy when she does it. And
I agree.
So that was what I noticed about, and I'm just, Brass in Pocket. Is that the name of the song? Brass in Pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can remember Brass in Pocket is like whatever year that video came. I can remember the video in my head watching it. You know, she acts like a waitress going into a cafe, taking the orders of the band members. And it's just, you know, to me, that's some of my childhood. I can just picture that song and that video in my head. And anyways,
Yeah.
besides the fact that she was a beautiful girl, you know,
Yeah. And, you
and the
know,
voice.
you get to one of those things where, like, you know, there are bands you like that are female fronted, or you have like Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, those kind of
Yeah.
things where she doesn't have necessarily the best voice vocally
Mhm.
as far as like purity sound.
You mean Chrissy
No, I'm talking about
or Joan Jett?
Joan Jett.
You're right.
Now, she still sounds the same. I'll just say that. She sounds exactly like she used. I mean, she hasn't changed.
I like Joan Jett.
Right, I do, but it's definitely, you know, that it's not, you know, as vocally off as Janis Joplin was, but
Joan Jett
is
it the Blackhawks? Blacks? I forget the name.
Blackhearts.
Blackhearts, the name of a band. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Blackhawk was a country band.
I think
That'll
I
be
would
another
go
topic.
Pretenders over Joan Jett personally.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you on that.
I did like Joan Jett though as a kid. Remember?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I Love Rock and Roll was kind of one
Oh
out
yeah,
on
it was.
TV.
Talk about overplayed on the radio when we were younger. Yes.
Okay, so let me test you then a little bit on the Pretenders. Do you have a favorite song of theirs? Can you name a couple?
The one can't remember the name. Is it just Ohio? That song?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one I like. That's my favorite song.
Is
Just
it?
love the I love the cadence of that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's either that one, because what's funny is I used to get the Pretenders and Katrina and the Waves mixed up because they're very similar sounding stuff. You know, you got Walking on Sunshine,
Right.
that song from Katrina and the Waves, and it sounds like the Pretenders could have done it. Like it has that same exact like cadence, that almost progressive 80s sound, but not quite. Yeah. I was just thinking, like, you know, if we're gonna get like even a little bit later, I mean, rest in peace, Dolores O'Riordan. I mean, you can't, that voice, Dolores,
Yeah.
just you can't beat that voice as far as crazy talent.
Oh, I did have an anecdote, but before we get to her, which I do want to get to her in a second.
Okay.
Before we leave the Pretenders, "Message of Love" I think might be one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah.
But the Ohio song you're talking about, for those that don't know, there's a great story about Rush Limbaugh with that. And did you know the story behind that?
I do not.
The story is that you know, Rush is a conservative talk radio host, or was, you know, God rest his soul. And obviously a lot of people that are on the left side of things don't like Rush at all. And that was the song he used in his opening. If you go to listen to any of his old, you know, the name of the song is something like "Where My Something Is." Anyway, but the story goes that he told is that a lot of liberals and people that didn't like him were telling him, take that song down, take that song down. That's you can't be playing that song because, you know, she's not a conservative and you shouldn't be playing it. You're a conservative. It turns out that, you know, his people, you know, they went to her, Christy, and said, you know, hey, we just want to ask if we can use your song. We've been using your song. And she said that her dad used to listen to Rush when she was growing up, or no, not when she was growing up, but she was already grown. Right. Her dad listened to her all the time, and that he loved the show. And so she was like, now she's a liberal, from what I understand. You know, she's into PETA and that kind of stuff.
Right.
But she's also, I would probably argue, a little bit of a libertarian, or a little bit of a, you know.
Okay.
But anyway, she said, no, I don't mind. You can use it. You can use it from now on because my dad loved you so much, and I think that I honor him by letting you use it. And
there's your endorsement.
Yeah, I just thought that was the coolest thing that, you know,
she actually didn't care about the politics for once. That's nice.
Right. Yeah. She was just like, yeah, by all means use it. I'm glad that you're using it, and I'm glad that my dad likes that. So he basically had a free license. I don't know if it was free, they probably paid him, but anyway.
Yeah, they have
I always
to.
thought
They
that
have to
was
play
great
BMI ASCII fees for anything that gets broadcast. Yeah.
I just thought that was just a great story.
She's like, yeah, that's just really cool. Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to Cranberries though.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think I did get to see them twice, which was good. In '94 was my first time seeing them, and then late '90s, I think '99 maybe or something like. And it was like right before they broke up that first time or something. Anyway, so I definitely am blessed that I got, because there's so many artists that I had no excuse not to have seen, and before she passed, it was good to know that I actually heard her live, and just to hear that amount of voice coming out of such a tiny little thing.
I didn't get to see her. And if you recall, I think we almost saw her a couple of years ago, and it was canceled for some reason.
Right.
I think our buddy Scott was going to get us tickets, and they ended up canceling it. They
Yeah.
were going to redo it, and we never got to go. So I missed out on my opportunity.
Kind of like I saw Soundgarden a week and a half before he died, his last show here in Atlanta. It was just like,
right,
just something I said, I'm going to go. Like, and from now on, I'm doing that with any artist that has any clout at all. I'm going to go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So back to the women that we love that were in rock. You mentioned one a minute ago, and I think that I lost touch with a lot because, again, back to my Jason knows this, but me watching MTV was like the soundtrack of my childhood.
It's religion, yes.
Basically. I mean, I watched it in my living room floor so many times. I mean, I probably saw just about every video from 1980 to 85-ish or so. And it's a weird phenomenon to me because I can listen to a song or watch a video, and it literally transports me to the exact state of mind that I had during that period when I watched the video. So that doesn't tell you how,
how much time you spent,
or how it affects you even.
Yeah, exactly.
As a child.
Songs especially, yeah. Songs especially, I can say I can track my life through what song was on. I'm with you, yeah.
But anyway, Pat Benatar definitely got overplayed by MTV to an extent. But I still, when I go back and watch YouTube videos of her videos, I'm still like, she had a really good voice, and she was a good singer. And I think she like maybe was her husband or just a friend. It was her and a guy or something that did the. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else, but
I don't know.
Anyway, favorite Pat Benatar song, I guess probably "Love's a Battlefield."
I like "Shadows of Night." That song.
That is a good one.
That video with the video where they're they're flying to, or they're gonna go blow up the Germans and Nazis. That one that has that crazy video with "Shadows of the Night." I love it.
The other night I was listening to watching a few. I sang one of her songs randomly for my wife, not singing for her, but I was just singing it while I was doing something, and I'm trying to remember which song it was. I was just doing something like, and she was singing. I was like, "Do you know that song?" And she was like, "Yeah, I know a Pat Benatar song." And so I looked it up on YouTube, and she was highly impressed because we found about 6 or 7 songs that she didn't realize was Pat Benatar.
Yeah.
And so we were like, I was sitting there thinking, I need to buy, like her and the Pretenders, I need to buy their greatest hits or download more of their stuff because I didn't even realize it. I didn't even have it in my, iTunes. But I like them a lot.
Oh, I just thought of one. Kim Carnes.
No, I know the name.
Betty Davis Eyes, that song.
No, yeah, she's got the raspy thing going.
Yeah, that over Stevie Nicks.
Does it please you?
Yeah.
Kind of sound.
That's an all skate if I've ever heard one.
Did a beautiful voice though.
Yeah. Notice I didn't put Stevie in there just because I get tired of her. I get tired of her voice.
I like Stevie Nicks, and I don't know if you like her or just tired of her.
It got worn out on me because the lady that lived with us off and on for 18 years, she loved Stevie Nicks and just like worshiped the woman. And so we had to hear Stevie Nicks all the time. I like Fleetwood Mac. I like the stuff that Stevie's not singing lead on though. Yeah. I think it's just better.
So can you do Tell Me Lies by Fleetwood Mac?
Yep. Tell me lies.
She kind of does a little Tell Me Lies.
Yeah, but that's fine if she's an accent on it. But like that one and You Make Lovin' Fun, stuff like that is good. But yeah, I was trying to think of some others.
Who's the lady? Who's the her counterpart female in that band? Fleetwood Mac. Never remember her name.
Christine McVie.
Yeah. She had
Christine
a great voice.
McVie.
She had a great voice as well. Not as good of a solo career, unfortunately.
No, she had a one. I gotta love this love, gotta hold on me. I love that song.
That was a Fleetwood Mac song, right?
Well, one of them wasn't. One of them sounds like
that might have
Fleetwood
been.
Mac.
Okay, yeah.
You know, but
no, she had some good Fleetwood Mac songs as well. I agree.
Yeah, like Lindsey Buckingham singing. You know, of course, Lindsey wrote most of them too.
We'll talk about Lindsey when we talk about guitar players one day.
Yeah, he's one of those underrated. Yeah.
He definitely helped make Fleetwood Mac a great band.
Yeah, well, he wrote them all.
Yeah.
So like, without them, they would have no songs. But they like you get like later too, like again, I don't like her voice, but she definitely has a distinct voice, and that's Courtney Love. You know, the woman who murdered Kurt Cobain.
I'm not on board with her. Yeah, but I get it. Yeah.
But like she was really earlier, you could tell it was like deep, dark, like bleh, but it kind of told the sound of that time. And then later on, she put out happy songs, and we're all like, "What is this? Like Malibu?" And I'm like, "What the? Like these are actually okay songs." But yeah, it's interesting to look at female rock singers because you're right, they're just not as many.
I was trying to think of a few other like late 70s through the 80s. The Go-Go's were kind of one.
Yeah,
Belinda Carlisle.
They're getting inducted in the Hall of Fame this year.
Cool.
Yeah, let's not talk about that again. I'm already pissed. Not about them getting in, but some of the ones that shouldn't be. Yeah, I was thinking back then, Susannah Haas of the Bangles too. The Bangles as a whole actually sounded really good. We know they did get worn out on us, but they were a great band. They actually were a female punk band to start with. They really had a punk sound.
Okay.
And they were
go ahead.
And Susannah Haas is the one that we all fell in love with. I mean, those, that walk like an Egyptian video, we're all like, hey.
Tell me this: could somebody identify? Could your average person on the street identify the difference between Bananarama and
and the Bangles
and the Bangles in the lineup?
Well, no, yeah, because the Bangles were they're a different sound. Bananarama, they had,
which I like Bananarama.
They had a few hits. Everybody remembers Venus. They redid Venus. That was a remake, obviously. And Cruel Summer.
Cruel Summer, I like that song.
They also had Robert De Niro's Waiting. That was actually a good song.
I like their version of Venus, by the way.
Yeah, the Robert De Niro's Waiting is kind of a funny song. And then the other one that they did with Fun Boy 3, which was It Ain't What You Do It the Way That You Do It. It's like that shows off their vocal talent. The Bananarama had good vocal talent. But like back then, you get into there in the studio, says, no, you got to sound like this. We got to sell this. So, and that was a heyday. Yeah. That was the heyday of studios, really controlling things too much.
Now, I will say,
no, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, I will say that I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of those women might have been deprived of some, I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised because even men were a lot of times deprived of some financial rewards for their successes.
Get this. I mean, and it's still true today. Like, they never made any money off of record sales. Very, very little. They made all their money off of touring. That's why which is why all of these bands freaking toured like crazy, because that's how they make their money.
Okay, so if you had to say from 1970 to I don't know, I can't remember when, because you might say the girl from Cranberries. Who was your crush? Who was your female rock singer crush? The 80s, 90s period.
Oh gosh, well, that's difference. Well, all right. So I've already outed myself as a Susannah Haas fan from the 80s. Saw her play.
Sorry, she was what band again?
Bangles.
The Bangles, you're right.
Yeah, she was the little cute one.
I always forget her name.
and she was. I remember she was in some movie that was supposedly risque, but you watch it now and you just laugh. And I remember I snuck into a friend. One of my friends had like a VHS copy of it. I actually know it was on beta. I remember because his dad had beta, and we watched it. It was called Up All Night or something, or All Nighter. Anyway, you watch it now. You watch it now, and it's like, oh, that's something my mom didn't want me to watch. Really, this is not risque at all. But then I would say in the '90s. All right, I've got to break it down. In the '90s, it was.
We moved to the '90s. Okay.
Well, because there's two different styles. Lisa Loeb.
That's all good.
Lisa Loeb, I think. Something about those glasses. The other one, she's got one of my favorite lyrics in all of music. You sat on the corner.
The girl from the 4 Non Blondes? I'm kidding.
No, was that a girl? I wonder. But like she has her other song, and I Do, and it was like it says you sat on the corner of my bed and you smoked with a ghost in the back of my head. I'm like, oh, it's just awesome.
Well, I mean, the '90s was our teenage through college years, so I think it's kind of easy to have more crushes on the women of that period.
And then the other one, which was a different style of music that came out, it was Natalie Imbruglia. Oh,
what was her song?
Oh, she had a few, but Torn was her most favorite song.
Yes, I do remember her in that video.
And then getting to see her act later on, and knowing that she was an actress, in Australia. So I was like, oh, she's got an Australian accent. Oh, I
didn't know she was Australian.
Yeah, she was on the Australian show Neighbours.
That's the song.
Longest time.
Torn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing right, I'm torn. That
was such a goofy video, but it was she was easy on the eye, so it was not hard to watch.
Yep. But yeah, so there's just, there's a lot of those kind of artists. I think more recently, obviously, I like the band Dead Sarah, which has a female lead singer and a female guitarist, who I know them actually from talking to them a lot, where I can message them and they answer back. They're not quite big enough to be unreachable yet. But
so they are current empowered women in the rock world.
Yeah, that's true. And they're out of LA. They actually grew up in Hollywood. And they, Emily Armstrong and Susie Medley. Susie Medley's the guitarist. And Emily's got kind of a, it's almost it's a better sounding Courtney Love type sound. She can sing, so that gets her one up on Courtney Love. And she's got the rasp, and she goes crazy high. Their big song's Weatherman. That was their first big song. It's just like, it makes your right foot go down on the gas pedal. It's just one of those songs, but it could have easily come out in 1993 and been popular. So they've kind of got that retro alternative sound. And Susie's she's adorable, and she can play a guitar like crazy.
I think I'm so disconnected from modern music of the last 5+ years that I can't even think of a girl rocker that I love right now that's been a singer in the last 10 years.
Oh yeah, because rock has not been what it used to be. When the Grammys doesn't even broadcast the best rock album or best rock song, they say an award's given earlier, and you're like, really? You're not broadcasting rock anymore? That should tell you how far we've fallen.
There's women that I appreciate very much in their sound. Like, for instance, I really respect Kelly Clarkson and her voice and her abilities.
She's a real person. She's not like, she's just one of those people. Yeah.
And oh gosh, Alicia Keys, like, that lady can really sing. She's
a brilliant musician all around. Yeah.
Yeah. So artists like that, I can really super appreciate. You're gonna laugh. I just put up a list that I put up earlier. This is a website. I think it's called Spendity or something like that. And it has like the I forget how many are on this list, but it's like, women of rock, or I guess popular music, that it has like a list of 25 or so. And
everybody likes what's her name from Evanescence.
Oh, she's beautiful. Beautiful.
I think of her name. Lizzy, and then Lizzy Hale of Hailstorm.
Yeah, I forgot about Evanescence.
Which is along the same lines of Evanescence. It's that weird new rock stuff.
I think that if you and I were to sit down in a consensus meeting, which we're kind of doing now, but we probably both can leave the meeting saying, yeah. And I feel bad that I can't ever remember her name. Cranberries.
Yeah.
You know, her, what's her name?
Dolores O'Riordan.
Thank you, Dolores. Probably our favorite voice of an angel singer kind of deal.
Yeah, from more modern times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously for me, Karen Carpenter.
Yeah, you did say that.
But it's two different kinds. I mean, we know that Dolores was raised on Irish lilt in a Catholic church, so she's got the Irish lilt, which is what her signature was.
I wonder what her feelings about Sinead OConnor would have been. I mean, that's like
Sinead OConnor owes anything she has to Prince. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, talented lady. Though. I know a girl that was actually in a rehab, and she ended up being roommates with Sinead, or like hallmates or something like that. So she got to meet Sinead OConnor, and she said that she turned out to be a really nice lady to her. Yeah, she was. she was definitely kind of, for lack of a better word, kind of out there. But
don't piss her off. She'll put a car bomb in your car. She's definitely Irish. But yeah.
Oh, I was going to go through this list though. One word that we did, or one lady that we didn't mention, who, believe it or not, I actually do probably like a couple of her songs.
You're gonna say Madonna.
Yeah, that's number one. That's their number one. Yeah. Ugh. I mean, there are a couple of songs that I can listen to and just have to say, forget it's Madonna, but I like the song. Okay. And
that is funny that we didn't even mention her. We didn't even mention her though.
But without doubt, though, she's probably the most empowered woman that's ever been, I would guess.
Yeah.
Rock, as far as making money and having her own, empire, so to speak.
Yeah.
Not that we have to like her music. I mean, I've never, even as a kid, I didn't think much of her music. I was like,
it's just silly like poppy stuff. And Lucky Star, like, shoot me in the face, please.
And I'll tell you, I think this is number two. Number two, I respect way more than Madonna and like her a lot. I mean, I've even sat down and watched her live concerts. Tina Turner.
I can't stand her.
You don't like Tina Turner?
It sounds like tacky gold 80s furniture or something. To me, it just, she sounds like cheap replacement leather to me. It grates on my nerves. I will say her Bond song is one of the best. It is one of the best. Goldeneye.
We don't need another hero. That's not the song. Yeah. I actually like.
I can almost smell it. It's like,
her song. The famous one from the early 80s where she's walking down the sidewalk. That's probably my favorite song. What's Love Got to Do with It? I've always liked that song. But moving on.
Number 3 is Whitney Houston, isn't it?
No, it's Annie Lennox. Who we didn't talk about.
Annie Lennox, wow.
Who I think was a very talented lady, and I like her a lot.
Oh, yeah, she had a great voice. Yeah.
Very good voice.
Would I lie to you, Gene? I don't think I would.
Make it. Sweet Dreams is kind of my favorite.
Yeah.
If anybody hasn't looked up the viral video of the guy singing Sweet Dreams at the gas station, that's one of my favorite.
Oh yeah,
viral videos. Joni Mitchell was number 3, by the way.
Yeah, whiny protest music.
Oh
no, it seems the more that you don't know what you got till it's gone.
And number 5 was who was on the TV the other night. Another way that I kind of respect, but is Sheryl Crow. She's talented, I think. She's got talent, and
all I wanna do is have some fun.
I'm sorry, Bonnie Raitt should be way ahead of her.
Agreed. Yes, blues definitely. I would consider Bonnie Raitt blues.
Yeah, and she does country. I mean,
which blues can morph into country real easily.
Hey, Bonnie could probably do jazz. I don't know. Yeah. Nancy Wilson
Nancy Wilson of the holy crap, Heart. I totally forgot about Heart.
Yeah, I mean, God.
Heart, hello. Yeah, like
in my opinion, classic rock, which is probably my favorite rock genre. I think Heart is probably top 10 or so.
I would agree. Yeah.
And her voice is great as well.
Yep, her blend with her sister is really good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And her sister is a great guitarist as well.
Oh, no doubt. And another lady that I'm not a fan of, but I can see why people like her, I guess. Melissa Etheridge.
Yeah, you can just go ahead and skip over that one.
I mean, I guess I can see why people like her. And
Come to My Window song got worn out in the 90s. Anyway, go ahead.
Katie Lang's probably more talented. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Yeah, she's a constant craving. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Lita Ford. I think you mentioned her earlier.
Kiss me once. Ding, 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 ding.
Now, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
think
this
Lita
lady.
Ford was talented.
Maybe
But
I don't. I'm trying to. Do you know Lita? Not Lita Ford. I'm sorry. Kate Bush.
Yep.
What was she in? Was she a single? A solo
Yeah.
artist? Okay. I do not recall her music.
Yeah, you look it up, you'll know. You'll be like,
Okay.
oh yeah, that song. Oh yeah, that song.
All right, a few others. We already mentioned Bonnie Raitt. Susie Quattro. I did not
Oh,
recognize.
Susie Quattro, stumbling in. Yes.
Yeah, I know you know all these. Okay, here's one that I think
What?
that, she's at number 13. Now, her, again, worn out on MTV,
Okay.
Janet Jackson. But I do
Yeah,
think Janet has
nothing.
good talent.
Yeah.
We mentioned Joan Jett
Yep.
and the Black Hearts. And there goes my train. Going by. Oh, good. Chrissy
Yep.
Hynde did make the list at least.
Yep. Yep.
Ann Wilson.
Dan Wilson of Heart. Yeah.
She was way down the list from her counterpart. And then Pat Benatar is mentioned. I mean, you got to respect Debbie Harry. Debbie Harry.
Debbie Harry, yeah, Blondie. Yep, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. I totally forgot about that one. That's right.
You'll love this one. I know you love Cyndi Lauper, Jason.
Yeah. Talk about war. I always remember that song from the Goonies. Good enough.
I actually like that song and Time After Time. Grace Slick.
Yep. Grace Slick. That's what I was talking about from Jefferson Airplane originally.
How many of these are actually San Francisco area women? Patti Smith. We got a few last ones here. Oh, your Susannah Haas is on here.
Mm-hmm.
And,
don't listen to her solo stuff, by the way. It's not good.
Oh, really? Not good.
Yeah.
So that was the 22 greatest classic rock and roll women. I'm sorry, Madonna, I do not consider classic rock and roll.
No, it's not. It's 80s rock, which is not classic to me. Classic rock ends in the 70s. Because and so, like, yes, you could say it's classic, but it's not classic rock. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, classic rock to me is its own genre from 60s, 70s.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because anything in the 50s I would consider more genesis of rock, you know?
Not to be confused with the rock band Genesis.
Not to be confused with rock band Genesis, which I can only stand a couple songs from.
I like Genesis.
I'm kind of like Richard Hammond on that. It's like it can be an ice pick to your brain.
Hey, speaking of my phases, I'm actually going through a Genesis phase right now.
Well, like I said, I like some of their more popular stuff, but then it just, when you get their deep cuts, you're like, oh, this is just goes on too long.
Not their early deep cuts, but I've been listening to some of their when Phil Collins started becoming part of when he stepped out. That's the stuff that I've been listening to lately, like the early stuff from there up until You
mean when Peter Gabriel stepped out?
I mean, it stepped out behind the drum set up to the
Oh yeah.
Stepped out to the lead.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. But yeah, Peter Gabriel, totally kind of a different band in some ways.
Yeah,
with their sound. Anyways, that's different from women, though, isn't it?
It is different, but yeah, women. It's interesting. I think, the '90s had some. I was trying to remember them all. Like there was a Christian rock band called Dakota Motor Company, and they had a female singer who was just phenomenal. They were really good Christian alternative band. Me and my friend Wes Freeman, we wore that CD out. Yeah,
Alanis Morissette.
Yeah,
you couldn't live in the '90s without hearing her on the radio.
I just couldn't get into it though. I mean, why were women from Canada so angry?
I was about to say
I
she
don't-
was sort of the genre of angry women rock in some ways,
Canadians,
right?
yeah, angry Canadian women. I'm like, geez, well, what is there to be angry about in Canada?
It's like
Except for
rain.
the other
Do
one, you, I didn't know. Like, oh my
Isn't it
God.
ironic?
I could smell the fraternity house when I hear that song.
And you know what though? Her music for me is a weird dirty pleasure. Sometimes I just like to listen to it. I don't know
a
why.
weird guilty pleasure. Yes.
That's a dirty pleasure. Guilty pleasure.
Yes. Like Gene, keep it PG. Anyway, but yeah,
keep it G.
but yeah, there's female singers. It's interesting. Like they usually stand out. You know, there's not many of them that just blend in to the, like, yes, Vixen, you could say from the 80s.
Mhm.
I've been living on the
Vixen.
edge of a broken heart. I don't want to die. Golly, you know, I mean, there you can say some of those bands, but most of the time when there's female singers, they stand out.
Right.
Yeah, like in the 60s, I mean, all kinds of female singers, you know?
Well, no doubt in my mind that women during the
No doubt. There you go. Another one.
Yeah. Gwen Stefani, I mean, yeah. And she was just part of she just wanted to be part of a band when they first started.
Yeah, the ska band era.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
there's somebody.
I was just going to say, no doubt that women, for lack of a better word, clearly had empowerment from the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And they were
definitely
good at what they did, and they did it well.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely the fact that we could sit here and talk about it for this long, and we could talk about it even longer if we were looking at a list or looking through old CD collections or something. We'd be like, oh yeah, them. I forgot about them. You know, we just keep bringing it up.
Mm-hmm. I think I've used all of our time today, Jason. I think we're hitting the 30-minute mark.
And that's great. Please remember to visit all of our sponsors.
Maybe we'll have some one day. Who knows?
Alcoa Metals. No.
What's for dinner tonight, or did you already eat it?
I don't know what's for dinner tonight.
I've got to find it. I'm about to go get it.
I might get some salmon. I might do that.
Oh, really? From where?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
From some establishment.
Some establishment somewhere that did not pay for advertisement.
I think that I will be getting an establishment that has the letters CFA around it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Whatever could that be? God's chicken. Yes, that's right.
Well, excellent. Beautiful thing. One day we're going to have, I mean, this will talk about sponsors. We'll have a fast food discussion.
That's right. We will be, because we'd have to have it sponsored, because the minute we start talking, you can't talk about that without disguising every place we say. We could have an old, like, remember these restaurants kind of discussion, you know, like old restaurants from like when we were kids that don't exist anymore.
Like Mighty Casey's?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Go get your hot dog at Mighty Casey's.
You were thinking of Mighty Casey's?
I was.
Stop sharing a brain with me, Jason. Good for you.
Well, you know that we've been accused of that before.
People do not understand the amazingness that was the Grand Slam burger.
Yep.
Well, my other topic was going to be, for some reason, I don't know why I had this one. It was going to be talk about racing for a little while. So,
well, we can do that one. Yeah, that's definitely one.
That'll be next time, maybe. But
yeah.
I don't know how that
Monaco last weekend. That was good. Yeah.
I don't know how that would go into talks about empowered female singers that were great. But
well,
that's gonna be my other topic.
I think the point is we could talk about anything, and we have different. And you know, racing's one of my passions. So yeah, it's yeah. There we go.
Racing is one of your passions, but it's not my passion. But I do really appreciate it, and I like it.
And you know me, I have this ability to have way too many passions, because when I get into something, I get into it and I research and I do all this crazy. It's where I know way too much. I'm like, I just got to fill up all this empty, space up here with something. So
gotta do something.
Yeah, I do. It's a lot of real estate. But yeah, we could talk about that next time. I'm happy.
Yeah. All right.
Join us next week for an exciting conversation.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on Talk of the Now podcast. I keep wanting to call it my old title, which was already taken. I think I was going to do Talk of the Day podcast, but I think I saw that somewhere else, and so I decided to start calling it Talk of the Now podcast. So
nice.
anyways, oh, I did another one earlier, by the way. I did a brief thing about the Constitution of the United States.
Oh, amen. Yeah.
You can check that out there. All right. See you
Yeah.
later.
All right, buddy. See you. Bye.
Mhm.